Only 1% of car enthusiasts know about these hidden gems. We're diving into the most rare and incredible cars you've probably never heard of. These are the legends that changed automotive history, each with a unique story that'll blow your mind. So stick around, you won't want to miss this. The 1954 Kaiser Darrin is a truly special car that holds a unique place in American automotive history. Let's dive into the story behind this rare and eye-catching vehicle and explore what makes it so remarkable. First, let's talk about the man behind the car, Howard "Dutch" Darrin. He was a super talented car designer who worked with some really fancy brands like Packard and Rolls-Royce. After World War II, he started working with Kaiser Frazer, but he and the company didn't always see eye to eye. Despite that, Darrin never stopped dreaming up cool car designs. Darrin wasn't a big fan of the Henry J, a small car made by Kaiser. He thought it needed a sportier, more stylish version. So he secretly used his own money to create a prototype for a two-seat convertible with a fiberglass body, which was pretty groundbreaking at the time. When he showed it to Henry J. Kaiser, the big boss wasn't sure about it at first, but his wife loved it so much that she convinced him to make it part of the Kaiser lineup. The Kaiser Darrin had some seriously cool features that made it stand out from the crowd. The most famous were the sliding pocket doors that disappeared into the front fenders when you opened them. This not only looked awesome, but it was also safer since the doors didn't swing out into traffic. The car also had a split windshield, a cute heart-shaped grille, and a lightweight fiberglass body. Inside, it was decked out with red leather seats and matching carpets, giving it a real sports car vibe. Under the hood, it had a 161 cubic inch Willys engine with 90 horsepower and a 3-speed manual transmission with optional overdrive. So why did they make the Kaiser Darrin? Well, they wanted to add some excitement to the Kaiser Frazer lineup and compete with other American sports cars like the Chevrolet Corvette, which came out in 1953. Darrin also wanted to show how awesome fiberglass could be for making cars. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't great, and Kaiser Motors was having money troubles. They only made 435 Kaiser Darrins in 1954 before they had to stop production. Because they made so few of these cars, the Kaiser Darrin is super rare today. Out of the 435 they built, only about 300 are still around. People love it because of its unique design, especially the pocket doors and fiberglass body. Plus, the crazy story behind how it was made and the fact that Kaiser Motors didn't last long make it even more special. Even though the Kaiser Darrin wasn't around for very long, it made a big impact on car design and is still celebrated by car lovers everywhere. It's a symbol of a time when American car companies were trying out new ideas and pushing the limits. The Kaiser Darrin's one-of-a-kind features still make people go, wow, when they see it. So, there you have it, the story of the 1954 Kaiser Darrin, a true American classic car that's as rare as it is amazing. The 1941 Graham Hollywood is a really interesting and hard-to-find car with a cool story behind it. To understand why it's so special, we need to take a look at the history of Graham-Paige and how they teamed up with Hupmobile. Graham-Paige Motors started up in the 1920s and was known for making cars with clever engineering and sweet designs. But by the end of the 1930s, they were having money troubles. To try to turn things around, they decided to partner up with the Hupp Motor Company. Both companies were struggling and saw a chance to work together using the body dies from the Cord 810, a car designed by the famous Gordon Burig. The Cord 810 had all sorts of advanced features like front-wheel drive and hidden headlights, but it had problems with production and finances. Hupmobile got their hands on the Cord's body dies and started making the Skylark in 1939. Then Graham-Paige made a deal with Hupp to share these dies, and that's how the Graham Hollywood was born. The Hollywood used the smooth and futuristic body design of the Cord, but changed it to a rear-wheel drive setup. This meant they had to modify the body molds to make room for a driveshaft tunnel. The car was built on a new frame with Graham's own supercharged 6-cylinder engine, which gave it some pretty impressive performance for its time. One of the things that makes the 1941 Graham Hollywood stand out is its one-of-a-kind design, which was way ahead of its time. The car looks so cool thanks to the streamlined Art Deco-inspired body of the Cord 810, with features like a coffin nose front end, hidden headlights, and a sleek, aerodynamic shape. Graham's engineering skills were combined with this design, resulting in a car that was both beautiful and powerful. The Hollywood supercharged engine was a real highlight. The 17.8 cubic inch L-head inline-six engine with a supercharger gave the Hollywood the best power-to-weight ratio of any American car back then. This made it a favorite among early stock car racers, including NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. The car's performance and unique looks made it a highly desired model for car enthusiasts. Unfortunately, even with all its cool features, the Hollywood couldn't save Graham-Paige from its money problems. They only made the Graham Hollywood from 1940 to 1941, and only about 1,378 units were produced. World War II and the economic challenges of the time played a role in the short production run. By 1941, Graham-Paige stopped making cars altogether and shifted its focus to real estate, which marked the end of an era. The Graham Hollywood is super rare today because of its limited production and the fact that so much time has passed. Many of the original cars haven't survived, so well-preserved examples are highly sought after by collectors. The Hollywood's connection to the Cord 810 also makes it even more appealing, as both models are considered iconic examples of pre-war American automotive design. In the end, the 1941 Graham Hollywood is a great example of the creativity and determination of early 20th century American car makers. Even though it didn't work out commercially, the Hollywood is still a rare and cherished part of automotive history, admired for its stunning design, innovative features, and the story of how it came to be. Its rarity and special place in automotive history continue to fascinate enthusiasts and collectors to this day. The Toyota 2000 GT from 1967 is an incredible car that holds a special place in automotive history. It's famous for its stunning looks, impressive engineering, and the fact that they only made 351 of them, which makes it super rare. Here's the story behind this amazing machine. Back in the early 1960s, Toyota wanted to step up their game and build a high-performance sports car that could go toe-to-toe with the best from Europe and America, like the Jaguar E-Type and the Porsche 911. They teamed up with Yamaha, who knew a thing or two about making fast engines, and together they created the 2000 GT. When they unveiled the car at the Tokyo Motor Show in 1965, it was love at first sight. The 2000 GT had a long, sleek body with a low profile and a fastback roof that made it look like it was going 1,000,000 miles an hour just standing still. It was a total game changer for Japanese cars, which were known for being practical but kind of boring up until then. Under the hood, the 2000 GT packed a 2.0-liter inline-six engine that Yamaha had worked their magic on. It could crank out 150 horsepower, which might not sound like much today, but back then it was pretty impressive. Paired with a 5-speed manual transmission, this car could hit a top speed of over 135 miles per hour. It also had a sweet suspension setup with double wishbones and coil springs on all 4 corners, plus rack and pinion steering that made it handle like a dream. Inside, the 2000 GT was just as cool as it was on the outside. It had a gorgeous rosewood dashboard, comfy leather seats, and a steering wheel that looked like it belonged in a spaceship. The gauges were top-notch too, with a tachometer, speedometer, and all the other dials you need to keep an eye on your engine. Oh, and did I mention it had pop-up headlights? Yeah, this car was ahead of its time in so many ways. So why did Toyota go through all the trouble of making the 2000 GT? Well, they wanted to show the world that they could build a serious performance car, not just reliable everyday rides. The 2000 GT was like their superstar athlete, the one they could point to and say, "See, we've got skills." It was never about making a ton of money off this car. In fact, it cost a lot to build and they didn't profit much from it. But it did exactly what they wanted. It made people sit up and take notice of Toyota as a force to be reckoned with. Now, about that rarity factor. With only 351 ever made, getting your hands on a 2000 GT is like finding a needle in a haystack. And if you're in the US, good luck. Only around 60 of them were sold here. But it's not just the limited numbers that make this car so special. It's also the fact that it was packed with cutting-edge technology for its time, like disc brakes on all four wheels and that sweet independent suspension I mentioned earlier. Plus, the 2000 GT had a brush with fame when it appeared in the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice in 1967. Seeing Sean Connery's 007 behind the wheel of this Japanese supercar was a big deal, and it helped cement the 2000 GT's status as an icon. So there you have it, the story of the incredible 1967 Toyota 2000 GT. It's a car that changed the game for Toyota and for Japanese automobiles in general. It showed that they could hang with the big boys from Europe and America and do it with style, performance, and innovation. Today, the 2000 GT is a true collector's item, a rare and cherished piece of automotive history that represents the best of what Toyota could do. It's not just a car, it's a legend.